Very good morning to one and all. So today we'd like to, already we have seen the domain integrity constraints in the previous class. So, okay, let me set the environment, set lines 100 and set pages. So some 50 and select everything from employee one. No, okay. Select everything. Admission, I think, admission one. Select everything from ATMSSI one. Admission one. Yes, no rows are selected. So data has not been introduced here because we haven't operated commit yesterday. So that is the problem actually. So that is why. So we did not have any data at this moment. However, we have already seen what is not null and what is check in the previous session itself. If you have any questions in those two, you please type your question because these constraints are very important to be concentrated. So you please type your question. I'll answer the question, then I'll move to entity integrity constraints. If you don't have any questions, then I'll move. I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes for your questions. If you have any questions, please type in the chat box. If you have any questions regarding to not null and check. I must wait for 2 minutes. So I repeat, if you have any questions, please type your questions in the chat box so that I will answer them. Then if you have any questions, please type on the chat box. If you don't have any questions, let me continue with the next group of constraints, which are entity integrity constraints. Hope that everybody is listening to me, what I'm speaking. However, nobody has given any kind of answer from your side. Yeah, do you have any questions? No questions with you? Then anybody, any other people, do you have any questions regarding to not null and the check? So somehow I'd like to repeat for a while in a precise way. Not null is always trying to eliminate the null values while introducing into data into your table. So null values are supposed to be introduced into your particular table. They will be eliminated if you have introduced not null or enforced not null on your particular table while it's been creation. Not exactly creation. If a table can be created by you, then by using alter table, you could also enforce any kind of a constraint here. There is no problem at all. Then check in the sense, if your data, for example, if you consider any kind of data, so the data will be entered within that particular column might be having so these many number of values. So you have to specify those values, something like that. So course join, yesterday we have seen some particular column course join. In our college, you have CSC, EC, EEE, mechanical and civil. Only these values are available here. So ECE, something like this. Only I have to take only those values as input into this particular column. Then you have to specify this check constraint on that particular column. Always not exactly the characters. You could also specify the numbers also. So course fees. So it will be decided. For example, it will be decided 35,000 to 39,000. You have to specify that value. That could also be possible. So while we have to specify one thing here. And here, I'd like to clarify one question. I mean, I will ask one question and clarify the same question as our doubt. So domain integrity constraints, these domain integrity constraints will be always specified So the values which are supposed to be entered into that particular attribute. Okay, that is the first point we would like to consider here. So whatever the values you are expected to introduce into that particular table, so they will be taken into consideration by this domain integrity constraints. Okay, so domain of the table, the column, or otherwise attribute. So domain of attribute in the sense, so possible values which are being entered into that particular column is known as the domain. Domain in the sense possible values. If you consider a registered number, the registered number should always taken into consideration by, so for example, if you take a registered number, so registered number could be always taken into consideration by, so 501 to 560, within this particular range only we could able to enter for the registered number. So the domain of registered number will be this one. The domain of name of a particular person will be any character, whatever the character it might be. So capital A to Z, other small a to Z, or capital A to Z, any kind of character, or dot. These are eligible values which are being entered into that particular column here. So this is called the domain of name or name. If you consider address in the sense, some more extra items also be included. Comma could be there, hash could be there, slash could be there, hyphen could be there. Many other special characters also be included in address field. So something like this, all these are different kinds of domains which are being entered into one particular column. So if you want to define such kind of domains, then we will go ahead with domain integrity constraints. So this is the basic point where exactly so sorry for the disturbance. So here, so these are the domains which are available for different kinds of attributes which will be there within your database or attribute here. So if you want to define such kind of domains, such kind of domains, then you have to enforce the domain integrity constraints such as not null and check of that particular column here. And more, very importantly speaking, this not null or check constraint will be applicable for only on those columns. They could not be take any action on other columns over there. I'll give you a clear example after completion of these constraints, why that could be taken into consideration, something like that. Okay, these are the domain integrity constraints. Now coming to entity integrity constraints. Entity integrity constraints in the sense, let me go ahead and talk about something by using notepad here. Then, so for example, register number, name of the student name, and then followed by address, whatever it may be. Otherwise, subject one, and subject two, and so on and so forth. Many number of columns or attributes are available here. If you are supposed to enter name, that name will be some Hari, and the subject one will be having some 40. For example, subject, okay, however, subject two will be some 50, something like that. So if you enter such kind of data without taking this registered number here, for example, 501 Hari, and again 508, he's also one more Hari. Let me say his this name is J Hari, and this name is H Hari, something like that. So if you are supposed to take some particular data, something like this, some 60 and then some 67, something like this. If you are not supposed to enter data in so a registered number, this whole record is doesn't have any specific meaning here. Okay, if you are missed about this particular column, so if I am not audible in the sense, my side it is okay. My side, the internet connection and everything is okay. At my side, it is okay. I don't know whether your internet connection will be good enough or not. You have to check it out. Okay. However, registered number could not be entered by you. Obviously, this entire data could not be make any sense here. Okay, same name can be there with many people, so that is why registered number could be a unique value which could be taken into consideration. Let me give you one more example to understand this one. So transactional kind of a thing. So if you consider our bank transaction, there is a record. That record is called as a transaction. Within this particular transaction, so there is one particular column, transaction ID, so followed by account number, followed by what is the transaction type you did, so followed by amount, whatever the amount you have to perform, and the transaction date. These are the items. Of course, many items are there. I'll give you very few number of items here. So here, transaction ID, it doesn't make any sense here. You may be enter whatever the value it may be, but while giving the transaction, you must enter some kind of transaction number. I mean, account number is very, very important for us. Without account number, so you could not perform anything here. So here, I would like to perform withdraw. So how much amount? 10,000 rupees or 1,000 rupees. Today, the date will be so 20/06/2020, something like this. If I would enter some kind of data, something like this, it could be have some complete sense, because withdraw operation could be done by a withdraw operation, and he was withdrawal, so 1,000 rupees from his account. So on this particular date, the transaction ID will be this one. So finally, if you miss this particular data, this data cannot be entered by you, and you have to enter some kind of row, something like this. It doesn't make any sense, because withdraw can be happen, 1,000 rupees have been taken from the account, and on this particular date it has been taken. From which account he was taken? What is the account number? So it doesn't have any sense. It doesn't have any sense. So therefore, some number of column values, otherwise attribute values, will be play a vital role, in the specific column. Specific table here, specific database here. So that is why these will be these values will be represented. So remaining all other attributes of that particular table. Let us consider if account number will be gets missed, you cannot identify what kind of operations which could be happen here. If account number will be gets missed here, register number could be gets missed here. For example, name, the data element name could not be there here. For example, only subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, some data will be there here at this moment. So here a registered number could be missed here, in the sense it doesn't make any sense. So this registered number is playing a vital role while so this enter some kind of data in examination system. So this is making a very important role. So while enter some kind of data into examination system. In account transactions also, so account number make much sense. Okay, without account number, so it is not possible to specify what kind of operation could be done by whom. So therefore, these are very important attributes which are playing a vital role in any kind of tables here. So that is why these items are representing all other columns within that, all other attributes within that particular table. So these items, so account number is representing, so this account number has operated withdraw of 1,000 rupees on this particular date. It does have some complete sense if you are supposed to enter some data into this particular column. If you are not supposed to enter any kind of data here, so it doesn't make any sense. So that is why, so some attribute values are playing a vital role within the specific table. And if you consider one particular row, let us consider this particular row. So this row will be completely depending on so this particular column value. Okay, so it is representing. So account number is representing all other attribute values. Not so it is not supposed to be give any kind of idea, but it could be representing. So if you not specify this particular value, you could not, so whatever the, how much number of rows we will be enter here, those rows are, doesn't have any sense here. So that is what you need to understand. If such kind of things will be there, if such kind of things will be there, then those things will be called as entity. So account number will be an entity which could be, so this is a complete entity. Out of this particular entity, account number will be playing a vital role. So for doing such kind of things, we will enforce on that particular columns. So using primary key and uniqueness. Let me explain what is a primary key and what is unique. Before going to take the primary key, let me explain what is unique. The name itself indicates that unique in the sense, whatever the data you have entered within that particular column, that data must be unique value, that is without duplicates. Uniqueness in the sense, it doesn't accept any, does not accept any duplicates. Okay, duplicates are not supposed to be so accepted here. So if such kind of activity could be expected by you while enter any kind of data, then you have to enforce on that particular column so as unique here. Okay, let us examine. But there is one specific problem with so that particular uniqueness here. It does not accept any duplicates, but it could be accept any number of accepts any number of what do you call null values. You could accept null values could be gets accepted any number. There is no problem. You could continuously post or put null values over there, so it doesn't have any matter. But if you enter some kind of data, the data must not be duplicated. So that is the activity which could be resolved by unique constraint here. So let me explain by using this one. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Create a table. Let me consider exam. Okay, not exam actually. So master table. Master table in the sense I'm trying to create an account, banking information system, master table. This table does have, so ACC underscore NO, account number, which is number of we could take, however, number of 5. I'd like to enforce here unique, followed by, so account holder name, so varchar 2 of some 20. Okay, 20 or 30, whatever it may be, must be accepted here, not null, must be enforced here. So account holder address, varchar 2 of some 50. Okay, I don't want to enforce any kind of so constraint here. And then balance. So number of what is the present balance which are available with here, 11,2. And stated that minimum balance must be maintained. Minimum balance must be so 5,000 rupees. Otherwise, 1,000 rupees minimum balance. So that check whether balance must be greater than or equal to 1,000 rupees or not. If balance must be greater than or equal to 1,000, yes, you could enter. You could able to enter the data. Otherwise, it should not be follow the. It should not be. Allow you to enter the data here. Okay, so close and semicolon. Missing BR CHR some. Okay, some type topographical mistake where it is address VAR CHAR topographical mistake. Okay, yes, your table has created. Your table is successfully created. Now let me introduce some values into this particular table. So insert into the table name is master underscore table. Let us examine this one. First value is so 100. The number, account number is 100. Name will be some name, whatever the name it may be. Address will be so MCL Macharla. Okay, Macharla, comma. So balance will be so 1250 rupees. Okay, everything is get satisfied here. So we have entered some kind of value here. This is the first row. So there is no possibility to have duplicates here. So there is no problem at all. And I have been provided some value for account number, sorry, account name, that is Hari. So it doesn't equal to null. So there is no problem at all. And the balance must be greater than or equal to 1000. I have entered here 1250. So there is no problem. Every condition is get satisfied here. So therefore, let me, oh, 1250. Okay, save this one. Okay, one row has been created. Just I have missed here values, the keyword values have been missed here. So that is why the error will be taken into consideration. So here I have been entered 100. That is a unique value because this is the first row. There is no problem at all. And it is not null value. So therefore that doesn't have any problem. So 1250, yes, the condition has been satisfied here. So there is no problem here also. Now let me try to enter one more row here. One more row will be account number is 100 again. So the name has been get changed. That is, so this one. And then I'd like to, he's also belongs to Macharla. She's also belongs to Macharla. Some 1500 is the specific data. Look at this. You could understand one particular point. 100 has been given to one particular fellow. That fellow name is Hari. And the same 100 is trying to give Janaki also. So here, unique constraint which have been entered by you that has been violated. Okay, you never ever enter the data into so same the account number column for this particular table with the same kind of data. Let me try in another way. I'd like to enter what are the column names, account number. Let me miss this particular account number and will be taken account holder name, address, and balance. Let me take only enter some data for only those columns here. ACC underscore name, that is the first column. Address, second column, and BL, balance, is the third column. So let me eliminate this one from this particular thing here. So therefore, account holder name has been given properly, and then address, for address MCL has given properly, for balance has been given properly. And Janaki, which is not null value, 1500, which is greater than or equal to 1000. Yes, it's been satisfied. Every condition has been satisfied. Let me execute this one. Yes, your row has been introduced. Look at this. Select everything from, so master table. Look at this. If you are not able to give account number, this whole data doesn't make any sense. This whole data doesn't make any sense here. So therefore, you need to understand, if you are supposed to give some kind of data here, then this whole data will be make sense. That is the first point I'd like to convey. And second point is, if you are trying to enter any value at a unique enforced data or a unique enforced column, you may be enter a particular value or may not be enter any particular value. You may be enter some data or you may be enter null value. Both will be allowed here. If you want to enter some kind of data, that data must not be equal to previous row's value. So previously we do have 100 with us. If you are supposed to introduce one more kind of item here, that must not be equal to 100. That must be so other than 100 here. So let me introduce one more kind of data here. So let me consider, so 101, then one more name, Uday, then some 2500 is the minimum balance he is maintaining here. So look at this. Table has been, row has been created here. Look at this. So this value I have entered 101 here, and this 101 is not equal to 100 here. So there is this value and this value. These two are unique values, are not duplicated values. So there is no problem at all. So this row can be introduced in a proper way. Whereas if you are trying to enter null value here, yes, it could be accepted. It could be accepted here. So therefore, you could enter any number of null values when you are enforcing So unique constraint on any kind of table here, sorry, any kind of column here. Okay, so null values can be entered any number, there is no problem at all. If you enter your actual data, that actual data must not be so duplicated. So that is the point we need to consider here. Then, so now I'd like to create one more table for satisfying this particular condition. So here, if you enter null value here, I'd like to so specify here you are trying to enter null value. No, you are not supposed to enter null value. Some kind of error message will be given to you. Then how you are supposed to so create that particular kind of thing here in the sense. So create master underscore table one, master underscore table one. Let me take specification here. A specification here. So that is ACC underscore NO. So number of 5. Look at this. Previously I have enforced. Let me scroll up. And previously I have enforced only unique. Now I'd like to enforce first not null and then followed by unique. Both will be enforced at the same time. Then followed by so ACC account holder name CHR where char 2 of some 20. Okay, not null here, not null, and then balance. I don't want to go for address here. Balance. So number of 11 comma 2. Of course, let me operate. Check whether this balance is greater than or equal to 1000 or not. Okay. So look at this. What is this? Create a table. I'm missing something here. I don't know why. Create a table. Create a table. Table name. I'm missing very important words, very important keywords. Here table has been missed, so that is why we got error message here. However, your table has been created here. Now look at this. You have enforced not null. You have enforced unique also. Both have been enforced here. Then what shall the point will be? While you have to introduce some kind of data, what shall the point will be taken into consideration here? Now insert into so master underscore table 1. So values, what are the values I have to enter? 100, then followed by, so account holder name is Hari, then followed by some 1500. Minimum balance is 1500. Your row has been created. Look at this. I have been entered some kind of, this is a new table. It is not previous table. It is a new table, master table 1, new table. Previously it has been created a master table. Right now I have added 1 here. So 100, first row, there is no problem. It doesn't have any duplicates. And I have entered some data here. So not null also gets satisfied and unique also gets satisfied here. So therefore your data has been introduced. Now let me introduce one more row here. So I'd like to take 100 and I'd like to enter so Kumar. So let me the minimum balance is this one. Unique constraint is violated. Look at this. Unique constraint is violated. Okay. Now let me go ahead and enter some value here. That is NULL. Directly I have to place NULL. So you could see cannot insert null value on that particular column. So Gopi is the username, master table 1 is the table name, and account number is the attribute. On that particular attribute, you are not supposed to enter so null value here. So look at this. Both will be gets operated at the same time. Both will be gets operated at the same time. Same time in the sense for a particular row you may be enter duplicate, or for a particular row you may be enter so null. Okay. For this particular time I have entered duplicate, and for this particular time I have entered null value. So therefore both will be simultaneously get activated. Okay, get activated here. So this is the actual operation what we are expecting. If you enter null value, it must be oppose you. It must be always oppose you if you enter some kind of null value. And at the same time, so if you enter any duplicate, it's also notify you are entering some duplicate, something like this. Okay, being this particular so message, you have to unique constraint is gets violated. Some kind of message will be so produced to you. So therefore, both operations will be get satisfied here. But here you do observe on this particular column, so you have been enforced two different kinds of activities. One activity is not null and second activity is unique. So instead of that, I'd like to combine these two and I will come up with one new constraint. That constraint is called as primary key. So right away from the beginning of entity integrity constraints, the discussion which is beginning with entity integrity constraint, I have given one so clear information to you that so if you are not supposed to enter some data in account number, so this data doesn't make any sense. This is the statement I am continuously giving. So wanted to make this particular column is very important for our table, then such kind of a column will be considered as a primary key. It must be have some value. So let me introduce one more thing here. Let me create one more table for you. One more table for you. That is create table name which is unique, which could be taken as unique here. Okay, let me take it as master table 2, a new one. So this is next one. So because of not able to type all these issues, so that I have copied here. So however, instead of not null unique, I'd like to enforce a combined not null unique operated kind of thing, that is primary space key. Primary key, not null, and everything is same. Everything is same. So let us take a look here. So let me execute this one. Yes, your table has been created. So try to observe the difference. Previously, we have been operated not null separately, unique separately. Based on this, we got two different types of error messages while entering duplicate. While entering duplicate, we got unique constraint is violated because of this particular unique. By entering null value into that particular column, cannot insert null value so into that particular column because of not null here. But now I have been created primary key. I have been enforced here primary key. Let me introduce some data here. Insert into table name is master underscore table 2. Okay, values. What are the values I have inserted here? Number 1 is 100. Some Hari. So the value will be some 1250. Okay, 1250. Yes, there is no problem. So it is not null and it is also unique. So only one value could be there here. It is unique and not null, so there is no problem. And here check constraints also be checked here. Now let me try to introduce same for one more kind of thing, Kumar. The value which is being entered into this particular Kumar will be same. So which is a duplicate. Let us examine this one here. So what is the error message you could get? Look at this. Unique constraint is violated. I haven't been operated unique here. I have been operated primary key only. I have been entered primary key only here. I haven't been operated any unique. I haven't been enforced any unique constraint here. I have been so enforced only primary key here. So therefore, so the primary key will be the combination of unique and not null. Let me introduce one more kind of value here, that is NULL. Trying to introduce this one. So look at this. You cannot enter null value. So combination of unique and not null will be called as a primary key here. Why this name has been chosen for combination of these two here, in the sense one particular column or one particular attribute value will be playing a vital role for entire entity. So therefore, so instead of applying or enforcing two different types of constraints at a time, so we have been enforced with a single name that is called as primary key. Okay, in this way the primary key can be introduced here. And let me construct one more kind of issue for time being. So let me take into consideration of this access, MS access for explanation point of view. Okay, my database name is look at this. I have been created some kind of tables for you here. So create some kind of table where it is table. The table must be created in design view. Yeah, this is master table. So no ID, account number, number of something, account holder name, a name. So short text only. So balance, the balance will be number of something here. Let me save this one for a while. Here you have seen some, what is this? Let me enforce primary key here. So here there is no key. Let me increase the size here. Okay, it could not be increased not more than this. You please observe there is no specification at this place. If I would select this column and click on this one key, automatically primary key can be enforced here. Let me save this one. Yes, save this one. Let me create one more table. The table is transaction. Here it could be taken as a design view. Yes, TRAN, transaction. So here, the account number, so it is number, and then transaction type. What is the transaction type? It could be taken into consideration. So it is short text only. So amount, whatever the amount has done here, that is number. And okay, let me, I don't go for date and time. So let me consider this one. So here, it should not be primary key. Let me eliminate this primary key from here. Okay, now, so I'd like to save this one. Now trying to enter some data here. So account number 100, name is some Hari. So balance is some 1300. 101, some name, some, so 1500 is there. Yes, data has been entered. Two different rows of data will be entered here. Now let me consider this one. So I have only two different kinds of data, which is 100 and 101. Now I'd like to operate transaction. So 105, does that 105 could be taken any money from the bank? Because we don't have 105 here. So now you could see transaction type is withdraw, and amount will be some 1200. Is it possible to enter? Yes, it could be possible at this moment because we didn't enforce any kind of so constraints here. Look at this. Yes, it could be. So elimination of, try to delete this particular row here. So try to close this one also. Let me enforce some kind of relationship here. Let me enforce some kind of relationship. I'd like to introduce this one. And I'd like to introduce this one into relationship. So this account number will be having some kind of relationship with the transaction account number. Yes, enforce everything. Look at this, one to many. The relationship which is being introduced by this particular activity is one to many. One master table entry does have many number of transactions. That is the meaning. Yes, some data will be available. So that is why it is not able to create here. So let's open this particular thing and delete this particular row for a while. Delete this particular record. Then come back to relationships. Come back to relationships, and then you have to create it. And then you have to create it because some data which is not taken, the parent